Get ready because very soon you're going to watch the most anticipated movies in theaters. The most amazing animated films in the world are coming back with new stories. Do you know which sequels are already in production right now? The sequel to K-pop Demon Hunters is definitely coming to theaters, and that's something we know for sure. Even though Netflix hasn't officially announced the sequel yet, you can relax because the production of the second movie has probably already started. It's still a little early for Netflix to confirm it, but just by the way the first movie ended, you already know what's coming. There's no way Jinu and Rumi won't end up together, and that's why the next adventure will most likely focus on their relationship. After Jinu sacrifices himself for his beloved, it's quite possible that he's in heaven, or even better, facing a challenge to come back to life. Rumi, our main character, is half demon, and we still don't know anything about her father, which means this universe has a lot to explain, and that's why we're more than certain that K-pop Demon Hunters 2 is already in production. Netflix is going to announce the continuation of this adventure at their yearly special event, and maybe the second movie is already finished and just waiting to hit theaters. Could it be that we'll see the Huntrix sooner than anyone expects? To find that out and so much more, you better grab your popcorn and enjoy another Cinewave. Everybody already knows that Sonic 4 is in production, but the story this movie is going to tell is still a mystery. What we do know for sure is that this sequel will deal with time travel. The way Metal Sonic shows up in the forest to attack our hero is a direct reference to the Terminator, and that's a huge clue that we'll be going back to the past to solve the problems caused by Dr. Eggman. And besides that, there's another character who's about to be introduced in theaters. Yes, we're talking about Silver. This character is one of the most incredible in the Sonic universe, and he comes from the future to fight against the biggest villain of them all, Mephiles. What? You thought we were talking about Robotnik? Okay, sure, Eggman is definitely the most famous, but he didn't destroy Sonic, Mephiles did. That's right, Sonic 4 is already in production, and we bet that Sonic 5 is also in the works for the next few years, but that's a story for later. Riley is coming back to theaters very soon with Inside Out 3. This is something Disney is close to confirming, but our sources suggest production has already started. Riley is growing up, and because of that, some important new emotions need to arrive for this new stage in her life. This new emotion will be love, and this new character is going to cause a huge mess in the next movie. The theory is that love won't be born inside Riley's head, but inside her heart. And when Joy discovers that there are emotions outside the mind, she's going to head over there to find out why Riley is making decisions that don't follow the rules of the command center inside the girl's head. But we know you've got a question. In the series about Riley's dreams, didn't she already have a crush on a boy? Yes, but love is something else. It's a much stronger emotion, and for the first time in her life, Riley is going to truly fall in love. Inside Out 3 is already in production and should be hitting theaters very soon. The Incredibles 3 was announced by Disney in 2024, and since then we've been waiting for more news. The first good news is that you won't have to wait too long. The gap between the first and second movie was an unbelievable 14 years, but Disney promised it won't take nearly that long this time. The superhero family is coming back to fight against the biggest challenge Disney has ever created. In fact, we're talking about a league of villains, a terrifying group that wants to dominate the world. When the heroes were banned from fighting crime, the supervillains also disappeared. But why? The theory says they were preparing for a full-on invasion of the planet. The Incredibles has always made it clear that the past of superheroes always comes back to cause trouble, and that's why we know there are still plenty of villains left to be defeated. Since Mr. Incredible was once the greatest hero in the world, he must have a ton of enemies. The Incredibles 3 will be a movie that introduces a whole league of villains who want revenge against Mr. Incredible. You're already excited to watch this sequel, aren't ya? Would you be a superhero or a villain? Comment #hero so we can get to know ya. The Wild Robot 2 is definitely happening. DreamWorks is producing a sequel for one very simple reason. The adventure isn't over yet. A lot of people don't know this, but this universe is based on books, and there are 3 in total, which means it's very possible that we're looking at a brand new franchise that DreamWorks is ready to keep going with. The next movie will adapt the second book, and the story is expected to be about a danger coming from the ocean. Will the main character, the robot Roz, travel to the bottom of the sea to talk to the fish? That could make for a really interesting continuation. On July 1st, 2026, you'll get to watch Minions 3 in theaters. This movie is already confirmed and will probably be one of the best ones in the whole universe. The first good news is that Minions 3 was supposed to be released in 2027, but Illumination Studios decided to push the story up by a whole year. And yes, that's really strange because usually movies get delayed, not moved forward. But you can be happy about this because the yellow troublemakers are coming back sooner than expected. The story is said to focus on the minions fighting against another group of monsters, maybe even a female version of them, but that hasn't been officially confirmed yet. Will Stuart and Kevin actually find girlfriends? We'll find out soon enough. Frozen 3 is also a movie confirmed for theaters on November 25th, 2027. The official image Disney leaked online shows Elsa and Queen Anna heading toward a castle up in the sky. That means the next adventure will take place in a completely new magical kingdom. But that's not all. Olaf is in the scene too, and he seems to be pointing at a shadow following the sisters. Could that be the villain of the story? On top of that, in the clouds you can see two figures who seem to be watching the Queens of Arendelle as they approach the castle, and Kristoff, Anna's husband, isn't in the image, which suggests the movie might focus only on the sisters. Does that mean Kristoff is now the king, staying home to rule while Anna and Elsa take off on their new adventure? That's going to be interesting to see. Ice Age 6 is also a huge surprise that has been confirmed. Nobody was really expecting this movie, even though most people love the Ice Age universe. When Disney bought and then shut down Blue Sky Studios, the original creator of the franchise, everyone thought we'd never go back to the Ice Age again. But Disney pulled off an incredible surprise and showed that a new movie is actually happening. The theory going around online is that this time the baby from the very first film will return and he might recognize Sid, Manny, and Diego. But could that adorable baby have grown up into a mammoth hunter? Hopefully not, because that would be heartbreaking. And it would be even sadder if you forgot to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell for new videos every single day. After Disney announced Ice Age 6, fans immediately started coming up with theories about the possible return of Blue in a third Rio movie, set once again in Brazil, where the Blue Macaws would go on a new adventure. This time, the next adventure is supposed to focus on the main character's career as an actor. We know this because before Disney shut down Blue Sky, there was an almost finished scene from the third movie's storyline where Blue was in a star's dressing room when the villain Nigel shows up to steal his spotlight. The antagonist was going to disguise himself in blue feathers because his dream was to become a famous movie star. If that really is the story we're gonna see on the big screen, Disney hasn't confirmed it yet, but it's highly possible. Otherwise, we wouldn't have seen that scene leak online. If you watched Puss in Boots 2, you definitely remember how it ended, with our heroes heading back to the kingdom of far, far away, where Shrek and all the ogre's friends live. That means we're absolutely going to have Puss in Boots and Kitty Softpaws showing up in Shrek 5. But it also means that Puss in Boots 3 is in production. But why? Well, the next movie in this universe needs to happen because there just isn't enough time to cover all the characters. In other words, DreamWorks is producing Shrek 5 and Puss in Boots 3 at the same time. In the second Puss movie, the big problem was that the main character had lost his lives. But could the villain of this new movie have something to do with Shrek? Probably yes, because this mysterious character might be the very one who created all the talking animals in this universe. Let's not forget, Puss in Boots isn't the only one who acts like a human, but in this new story, the villain wants Puss to go back to being just a regular cat. We're betting he's not going to accept that. WALL-E 2 is also said to be in production, and this is one of the coolest announcements Disney is expected to make in the coming years. The first movie ended with humanity returning to planet Earth, and now people have to rebuild our world. But the robots probably won't let humans take control again, since they were the ones who ruined everything in the first place. That's why WALL-E 2 is in the works. With humans back, the world is going to be very different, and the reason for this sequel is that it can teach people how to better care for nature. It's worth remembering that the whole message of WALL-E is about the importance of protecting the environment, and Disney needs to show what the world looks like after humans came back. Hopefully this movie makes it to theaters soon. Brave 2 is also in production, and we know that because out of all the Disney princess stories, Merida's universe is the one that least explains the mysterious magic of the forest. To this day, there are plenty of fan theories about the red-haired, bow and arrow princess's world, and it would be amazing to finally see Merida experiencing romance for the very first time. Let's not forget that in the first adventure, she didn't want anything to do with suitors. Could it be that her heart has now changed? That's something we'll only discover in the future, but what never changes is that you can always keep having fun. We've lined up 2 more videos for everyone to enjoy. We'll see you in the next one. See you soon!